Hey guys, welcome back to the diesel stop here. This is that 12 valve Cummins that I picked up at the salvage yard here, and before I had my knee surgery I had time to clean this motor and everything up, so this thing is pretty impressive. It cleaned up really nice. I was really surprised at how easy this motor cleaned up. Whenever I found this motor, the only thing covering it was the hood of the truck. They had the fenders and everything off, so it's they pulled the power steering and vacuum pump on the back side here, and it's got some dirt in this gear cover here. And so what I'm going to do eventually here is pull this front cover off, and then I'm going to pull the gear cover too, and the gear housing, and go through everything and clean it up and re-gasket everything. The valve covers, the tappet cover, that's the side cover along the side of the motor, and a few things like that. So anyway guys, that's the story on the 12 valve motor here that came out of the salvage yard. I'm going to kind of go ahead and clean everything up and re-gasket this motor and see if she's going to run. And if it's a good running motor, it's going to be going in the tan truck, guys. But that's later on down the road, because we got that Clevite motor there to build first, guys. And something else I done right before I had my knee surgery, and I'm not going to upload those videos of tearing this motor down, because it was the last day before I went in for my surgery, and me and the guys kind of had a little bit of a party out here. So anyhow, I'm just going to leave those videos out. And this is the Black Betty motor here, guys, and I've got it all torn apart, and I'm ready to start taking things to the machine shop. I have one of the pistons sitting over on the bench there behind me, and I want to show you what the pistons look like here. This motor was pretty well hammered. I'd like to be able to flip the block over and show you how much wear was in the cylinders and stuff, but unfortunately I can't pick anything up right now because I got that bum knee. As soon as I can get the staples out of that damn thing and get off them blood thinners, I'll be able to do more out here. But until I can get off them blood thinners and get them staples out of my knee, I'm kind of limited on what I can do. But I'm going to start cleaning up bolts and everything, and start building the Clevite motor. And when it comes to the heavy lifting stuff, I'm going to have to get some friends over to help me do the heavy lifting stuff. So the only thing left in the block here for the Black Betty 1000 horse project is the crankshaft. And haven't took any of the bolts loose yet, but I'd imagine the bearings look just like the rod bearings did, and look like there's some severe dirty oil ran in it. So anyhow, I'm going to make it over to the bench here, and I'm going to show you guys this piston that came out of this Black Betty motor here. That's going to be the 1000 horse build motor, come out of the tan truck. Anyway guys, I got one of the pistons that came out of the Black Betty motor there. That's going to be the Black Betty motor, the 1000 horse build. And I cleaned this piston up a little bit a while ago so I can show you guys. This is a standard piston. There's actually still the markings on the top saying that this is a standard piston. And so the pistons that I had custom made, that Molly Motorsport had jumped in and custom made a set of pistons for that 1000 horse motor, and they are a 40 over piston. So I'm pretty comfortable you know, with the 40 over pistons. I think that the block's going to clean up no problem with a 40 over bore on it. And I'll get back to these here in a second, guys. I'm gonna take this piston off this connecting rod here in a second. And I did make it over to the machine shop before I had my knee surgery, and this is the head for the Clevite motor, guys. And it's ready to go. It's completely worked over. It's got the reground valves, and pressure tested, and knurling the valve guides, and the whole 9 yards. So it's ready to go. So all I got to do is get some bolts cleaned up and stuff and get ready to build a motor. I still got to get some studs to put this head on. I've got the camshaft and half a dozen other things that I need to build this motor with. I'm going to get set up on a tripod here. So anyway guys, I got the piston here that came out of the tan truck, and this is going to be the 1000 horse build. And I got it sitting here on the toolbox, and I'm going to pull this wrist pin out of this rod here in this piston and get this piston off. Then I'm going to put the camera in a different mode to where I can show you guys close up all the scarring and scuffing of this piston. So this piston here has a snap ring holding this wrist pin in there, and I've got a pair of channel lock snap ring pliers here, and these are a pretty neat pair. I got them at the Home Depot, and like 20 bucks I get for them. But anyway, so if you squeeze them, they'll open up this way, or if you flip the lever, it'll actually go the other direction, guys. So pretty neat little pair of snap ring pliers, and they come with different tips and stuff. Pretty handy to have. So anyway, here comes the snap ring out, and then you only need to pull one snap ring to get that wrist pin out. But I'm going to send this piston here down to Texas, down there to them boys at Union Pacific Railroad. They're probably actually sitting there watching their video, eating their lunch right now. So anyway, I'll just go ahead and pull this wrist pin out here. And this here's your wrist pin. Big old chunk of iron there. And then of course your connecting rod. And then on the inside here you got your pin bushing. So I'm going to go on ahead and, wow, that's pretty sharp. So anyway, I'm going to go on ahead and get my camera in a different mode here and show you guys the scarring on this piston here. So anyhow, guys, I got one of the pistons here now. This is the piston I cleaned up a while ago. This came out of the tan truck, out of the 6-cylinder Cummins. And so this is going to be the motor that I'm going to make the 1,000 horses out of. And as you can see, these pistons are scarred up on the sides, and they're not looking so well, and I'm sure the ring land has got some wear in it. And these pistons were shot just like the rest of the motor, and I can definitely tell you for sure this is where the blow-by was coming from. And as you guys remember, this thing was like Puff the Magic Dragon, with all the blow-by it had coming out of the oil dipstick tube, the fill cap, and the blow-by tube that comes along the side of the starter there. So, and it even had a blow-by out of the rear main seal. So as you can see, it was this piston will tell the story on how the cylinders were out of specs on the bore. So it's just a worn-out motor. I've got some bearings here to show you guys, and just wanted to show you what this looks like up close here. This is one of the bearings that came off of that particular rod and piston there, and as you can see, there's some scarring in there, and there's a real long one right here. Goes lengthways like this here, and that's from running dirty oil, and well, extended oil changes, not changing your filters like you're supposed to, and all that good stuff. And this bearing right here is a P bearing, and the P bearing stands for production. The production bearing is actually for people that run extended oil changes and don't keep up with their maintenance like they should. Being that the P bearing is a tri-coat bearing, it's actually a softer bearing, and it'll withstand trash a lot easier than a H bearing will. And H bearing is standing for high performance. And the H bearing does not like trash too much, but if you were to keep up on the maintenance of your vehicle, it's actually the better bearing of the two. So anyhow, we'll get into that later on, guys. And I've got I'll set up the camera, and I've got a new H bearing and I got a new P bearing that I'd like to show you side by side and show you the big difference in between the two bearings. So as you can see, this is a tri-coat bearing, and being that it's a softer bearing, it's had a lot of trash ran on it, guys. It's picked up a lot of trash, and the crankshaft is actually scarred up from the amount of trash that was ran on this bearing here. So whenever I build this 1,000 horse motor here, I'm actually going to be running H bearings in it instead of these flimsy little P bearings. So keep that in mind, guys. The P bearing does not stand for for performance, it stands for production, and the H bearing stand for high performance. So and the H bearing is the superior bearing. Just got to keep up on your maintenance on your vehicles. And anyway, we're going to go on to something else here now. So I got a couple of tappets here, and some people call them lifters. Well, these are the tappets that came out of the Moly-Cleveite motor right here, the candy cane motor, and this tappet right here has been reground, so it's ready to go back in the motor. A lot of people will build these Cummins without regrinding these tappets in the camshaft. Me, well, every time I build a Cummins, I'm going to spend the extra $300 to $400 and have the tappets and the camshaft reground, and then going ahead and put a performance grind on the camshaft. And as you can see, this is one of the tappets that came out of the Black Betty motor, and that came out of the tan truck. That's going to be the 1,000 horse motor, and as you can see, there's some pitting in the tappet here. That's not too bad. By looking at the rest of the motor, these tappets right here will be able to be reground, and they'll be brought up to look just like this tappet right here. So that's what I'll end up doing, is sending them off and having them reground. And as you can see, they don't take a ton of material off, and it's you'd need some type of measuring device to actually see how much material was taken off, because it's not very much. And that's the great thing about the Cummins. You know, there's 40% less moving parts, and that means less stuff to go wrong. So being that it's a flat tappet and there's no hydraulics to it or anything, there's less to go wrong with having a needle bearing fall out of a lifter and then get put in the oil pump or worse, you know. So anyhow, guys, that's what the tappets look like that came out of the tan truck. Well, guys, the next couple of days here, I'm going to start cleaning up some bolts and getting stuff ready to build the Moly-Cleveite motor. And we'll talk about this camshaft here later on. You know, the Cummins, it only has one cam bearing and rides right there in the front, and the rest of the camshaft actually rides in the block. So yeah, the Cummins only has one cam bearing, the B series Cummins anyhow. So anyhow, we'll get this motor built within the next week or so here. And as far as it goes with the heavier lifting stuff, I'm not able to do it for a while here. But my buddy Rob over here is always more than happy to help me.
Yeah.
So anyhow, guys, we're gonna get to building on this motor here shortly, and I think I'm going to call it a day, and we'll see you guys later. If you hadn't subscribed yet, subscribe, and we'll see you later.